Welcome back to Buzz on Business. Today we have Kerrie Bellar with Kerrie Bellar Events. Welcome to the show.
Nice to be here.
Well, thank you. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I'm from the UK. I moved here a year ago, and I've been doing event planning for some time now, since 1997, because I got married here and I brought my business with me.
And when you said with your start in the UK, what was it about the event planning that you saw that really drove your passion with it?
I grew up near Windsor Castle, so being around Windsor Castle and being around a number of events, and my family were very involved in a number of events. We were always invited to them, so I had the privilege of being able to go to them. And when I was quite young, I just thought it was a beautiful thing to go to, and to be a part of it and make people happy, and seeing that. So that's how I sort of got into it to start with.
What type of events do you do?
So I do corporate events, I also do non-profit events, and then I do weddings. So the only ones I tend to sort of do.
Why don't you just share a little bit more about those three categories with events that you do? How involved are you? For me, I would call you and ask about an event. After that, I'm really bad. So I would hand it off to you. Why don't you share with our audience all the things that you do?
So for the weddings, I can officiate a wedding, I can plan it from scratch, or I can be your wedding day management or coordinator, as they used to be called. So that gives me a sort of a broad way of being able to help individuals with their weddings. I can pull in who we need to for it. With corporate events, it's helping businesses. Sometimes it's to do with team building aspects of things. Sometimes it's just the fun aspect of what they want to do with their staff members. And then with the non-profits, for me, this is something that's very dear to me. It's helping out our communities. It's doing things that can bring benefits to us, whether it's financially or just by being more of a community-based person and being able to help one another in our communities.
You seem to do it from A to Z. So if I had a plan, here's how I want to do it, I'd hand it off to you, you'd execute that vision I have, correct?
Yep, and that's one of the benefits of doing what I do. It's being able to take on and take away that stress from people and give them an experience that they can sit back, and the families can enjoy it, they can enjoy it, but they get to, at the end of it, sit back and say, that was a really lovely wedding. I didn't have to stress about it.
And that's what everybody wants, is that memory. And when you mentioned the corporate events, especially when you have other businesses there, you want them to have that same vision. So I would imagine with the corporate event, it's the same process you go through.
It is, yeah. We had one up in the UK where a company came to me and said that they had an issue with their staff members, and they didn't know how to make the leaderships and the other staff members sort of get together. So one of the things that I talked to them about was about, you need to take away what is leadership to some people. So I said, you need to do a white event. So everyone wears white. Everywhere is in the event is white, and that helped then. No one could identify who the management team was. Nobody could use their items of clothing to promote themselves. And it brought down everyone to a level that were equal. And at the end of that, the actual company came back and said it caused such a big difference in the company, and production levels went up, lots of things. So it had a benefit. So seeing that and knowing that you can go in and make a difference for a company is a really good thing.
Yeah, that's outstanding. Now I would imagine, is it the HR director, human resources directors that you speak with at the businesses,
Sometimes,
the owners?
CEOs, yes. Sometimes it's higher up, but it usually does come from them.
Now, I have to ask, what brought you to Medina, Ohio from the UK? I know it wasn't our beautiful weather, so really, what was it?
So we were looking at living in Ohio, and I grew up in such a nice community that when I spoke to the real estate agent here and I said, I want to live somewhere where the people are really lovely. And he said, you need to go to Medina Square. And he said, just walk around Medina Square. And so I walked around the square, and we have a number of businesses. And because I'm from the UK, they usually talk to me. So I said to my husband, I'm not going to talk to anybody. I said, you talk to them and I'll keep quiet. So we went to all the stores in the square, and they were just super lovely. And it was so nice. So we went into Cool Beans as well. And Laura, who I hadn't realised at the time in there, she knew a lot from the UK as well. And she just made me feel at home. And I thought, this is where we need to live. So this is why we bought our house here and business here.
That's great. Now, I just want to ask, with all that you've done, what would your future look like? I mean, with the different plannings, is this something you look to escalate and go beyond, or why don't you share with us what you look at for the future?
So for future goals with the business, what I want to do is work more with non-profits, work within the community more. That's something that I feel very passionate about, because everyone needs help. Everyone needs to know that we can rely on one another. So for the business, I just want to make sure that we can come in and help Medina, particularly in Medina. That's what I focus on. And we do so many of the non-profits here and so many businesses, and people don't necessarily know about these non-profits and the need that's in our county. So I'm more driven to help in that respect so that we can give back to the community.
Well, I want to make sure everybody that is involved with nonprofits knows that they need to reach out to Kerrie to get the word out to everyone. Thank you so much for visiting with us today and sharing your story. And we'll be right back.
Hey, Mom. I got the job.
Got the job. Welcome aboard.
I've got a job to do today.
Have a good first day at work, Mom.
Donate to Goodwill. Help provide job training in your community.